Hello people, right, I was just looking at, I got back to my charts and looking at DAX. Took the long on DAX this morning. As you can see, the DAX is moving up nicely. Average daily range for 5 days is 35,000. We're at 20 now, and it's just cruising through these resistance levels, the pivots, and cruising on up to R2 now. Everything looks good for the longs. And something I was looking at, and this is for sort of advanced users of what I do, and it relates to tests and retests and supply and demand and all that sort of stuff that we talk about just in terms of candles. So the up move was there, as we know, and you know, I won't go into the whys and wherefores, just have a look at the previous video about that. Then we had this massive pullback, high, low, lower high, lower low, and close. So technically speaking, we had to wait for the close with a valid reversal to the long side. Now here's something I rarely mention because it is complicated, it does complicate matters, but now we have the histo alert on our team as well, as it were, in our toolbox. What we can clearly see, what do we know when we get this reversal down? High, low, lower, high, lower, low, and close. We know it is highly likely to go back and test upwards. This is a 30-minute chart, remember, and the higher time frames always take precedence. So rather than wait for this to close up here and invalidate the reversal down, which I always say we have to do, and which used to frustrate the hell out of me before I added this to the mix and before I really understood what tests and retests do, and that's only screen time can do that. Look what happened. It came back after the pullback down, and remember, we're in an uptrend anyway, so technically speaking the H1, it's just unfortunate this closed down on the M30. If this had just tested, we could have entered this long on the M15. I hope that follows. Think about that. If it doesn't, replay the video a couple of times or ask me some more questions and I'll happily try and answer them. But what has happened here, it's closed down, so we have to close up above that one there, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. But we have broken old support with this close here. Old support or supply has failed to overtake demand, the up move, and that in itself is a massively bullish occurrence, that's the word. So if we look at the new candle after this candle now and drop down a time frame, we'll go up to the H1. I'll remind you, H1 at no point reversed down. So with that respect, this is a low, this is a high, this is a higher low, and this is a higher high. Once we break that high, we have now got a swing uptrend. It's unconfirmed, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, but that once that is making a higher high, doesn't matter if it reverses really, well, it will to your profit and loss, but it's stated an intent of a higher a new trend. So that is another thought. I'm thinking outside the box here, guys, as well. Also, I hadn't even checked this, but if this one is higher here than this one, then that's bullish as well. 35,005. Check it a couple of times. Same here. Check this one a couple of times. 35,672. So that's higher as well. That's bullish. So if that had busted through at that point there, again, we're good to consider, not take, but consider longs. But go down to the 15-minute where I was going to just now. So this is just the thinking out loud. Look how that's hit that now since I've been talking. 15-minute, we can see now we've got the situation on the histo where we've had, it's turned to green with a pin bar, hammer, whatever you want to call it, pulled back a little bit with that candle there on the grey line, and then continued on up with a close above and the uptrend I was talking about. We've got an uptrend here, then a pullback, then a continuation once that's broken. So we could trade up to these levels really, although this one has hit it. But this is just thinking outside the box, guys. It's what I did to come to this point. Let's put that support level on there that I talked about. Oh, well, it's on there already actually. Apologies, I wasn't set up to be drawing lines on the charts. Here we go. So that is the support level broken by this price moving down, or you can call it demand level. Broken, and then it's come up and it's not held as demand. Supply level. It's not held as supply, and it's become demand. And 15 minute now. That's where it reversed really. I wonder if that 15 minute did break that low. No, it didn't. Of course it didn't. Oh, actually, no, hang on. Because it gapped up actually. The high of that the close of that red candle was 111696, and that green line was 117550. The close was 11169. No, so it didn't. No, sorry, the open I'm looking at. Oh no, I do apologise. 111741, and that line. Ah no, even then, that's crazy. That's crazy. So this potentially would have been the break of that support area there. Failed to hold as resistance, or use your supply and demand on that one, which I'm trying to force myself to do every time. And then the next candle it burst up for 60 pips. So thinking outside the box, we're in an uptrend. Look how this is continuing up now, but I'm not tempted to jump in. No, I'm not even. I wasn't around when this was attacking this level here, but you know, price action, the histogram is doing its stuff. So that's just a little. This is the whole point of this. We couldn't get in that trade without that confirmation there. Then we had to wait. You could do that, but this is something I don't recommend. Don't talk about very often. We always talk about the break of an old resistance level or a supply level, but I don't often talk about the break with the reversal inside of that. So we could have attacked this high here after this candle had broken this level here. I hope that makes sense. So that in itself, and it's the R1 as well. So there was a potentially, and notice how also there's no pullback because it's just busted through there. There's no sellers left in the market because they couldn't, they couldn't force this candle itself down. They'd done it there and they'd pushed it back down there, but once you'd taken out all the sellers, price just blasted up. So from that point there to that point there, that was 30 pips. That's massive, you know. I'd give my right arm for 30 pips most of the time. So you can attack these levels in various ways. You know, the safest area to go to would have been the low of that candle there. So I apologise guys, I don't intend to confuse you at all. This is all just about understanding what the candles are telling you and how to try and think outside the box. And that's all we're doing. And look how simple candlestick analysis can become when you understand what the candles are talking to you about. Just try to understand candlestick analysis, and it's my job to try and teach you. And if there's anything you don't understand, after having looked at a load of my videos, please don't just come here for the first day and ask me questions that have been answered in the 370 odd videos that I've created talking about what I do. Okay, please do your homework, and I'm happy to answer questions. So thanks for watching. Have a great Bank Holiday Monday.